Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm doing the world's first LS swap Mercedes SLK. In the last episode, I talked about the one thing that could potentially stop me from getting the swap done. If you want to see that, just click on the card up here. So the first thing we really need to do is to sort of position the engine in the engine bay, figure out where it's going to go, figure out how much clearance we need to get the headers through and to clear the whole steering column and this power steering system. So I think the first major step really is to, of course, mount the engine. So we're going to sort of position it, and then we're going to figure out what kind of engine mounts I need to make to sort of get it in the right position. So we're going to use the engine mounts from the original SLK just to see where they go. We're going to look at the engine mounts from the LS2, from the GTO, figure out how those are different, and figure out how much forward or back I need to position the engine. So let's get into it. All right, so this is the passenger side. So this is the existing GTO engine mount. It's about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches high. So I think we might be able to use the existing GTO, the LS2 engine mount, fit right over there, and it might fit okay. So we're gonna basically test that out now. So we're gonna try to squeeze this in and get that in there and see if we can go stock on this side. You can see from looking at the top here, there's the starter. You can see that little tab is kind of touching the starter itself. I think it's not going to be too bad of an issue. We can probably bend that. Right up here, obviously we're going to have a little bit of issue with the exhaust. This is the stock LS2 mount. It actually works pretty well. I'm surprised how well it fits. Again, the starter, need to clear that, but this is actually looking pretty good on this side. All right, on this side here, you can sort of see it. So again, that's the stock LS2 engine mount coming off of the block. It's gonna be offset a little bit too when we bring the engine down on this side. So that's gonna be our clearance issue. Probably need to make something a little bit custom over there. And right over here, you can see that we're getting very close to the steering box over there. We're measuring the engine right now to see how close it is to the center line and see how far offset it is from the center. So you can't quite see it right now because of the jack, but the engine's looking actually pretty symmetrical. It's pretty centered. It seems to be a little bit off to the passenger side, but that's actually okay because we're gonna have all that exhaust work going over there, slightly over to the driver's side. So our issue right now is with that engine mount on the passenger side being factory and looking pretty good. A little bit hard to see it right here. From this angle, you can see it pretty well, actually. So you can see that the hole from the engine mount is a little bit offset from the frame rail, which is in the bottom. So we're gonna make a custom engine mount and use the factory LS2 pad and put it in there. So that's probably gonna be our first major fabrication work. This is the driver's side engine mount, and what we found is that, so this is the hole going into the cross member underneath. What we need to do is we found that this hole needs to be over here about 1 3/4 inches that way towards the engine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill this out and then put the mount in there, the rubber mount underneath, and see how that works. And if that works okay, then we're gonna fabricate a whole new mount. And we broke the bit. It's stuck in here, but it got through at least. So we drilled that mount. We got it in there. I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit. All right, so that's the factory mount that we just drilled a hole in. Fits pretty good. We got both mounts in. Over here, this is pretty much where it's going to be. We're just going to let the engine down onto the mounts. So the engine is sitting on the mounts now. You can see that one on this side. Here's the factory LS one there. I think we're pretty good. Cut off the edge of that little steering idler arm bracket, whatever you want to call that, the mount there. So now it's not touching the starter. There's one thing we need to test out, and that is, will the hood close on top of the front of this right here? Let's give it a shot. All right, we're gonna squeeze in here. It is touching. All right, so it touches. You can tell from the fender it's pretty flat here, but over here, I'd say it's...
You're about 3 fingers.
Yeah. So I think we could go like Mad Max style and just cut something in the front of the hood. Kind of a fake hood scoop. That might be the way to go. Something like that. Yeah. Or make a custom fiberglass hood. That's for a future video. Yeah, looking sexy. Ooh, that's pretty cool. So we got the main engine mounts, at least on this side I think we're good. On that side we need to fabricate something, but we're just testing it out. Then the next thing is going to be to fabricate a transmission mount for the back to swap up the T56 manual transmission somehow to the car. I've got one out of the GTO. I don't know if it's going to work or not, or if we're going to have to fab up something, but this is the basic position the engine's going to be in, and it's not being held up by the cherry picker now, so pretty good news. I think we're going to be, okay for this first step. So I call this success so far. No big showstoppers yet, although we're just barely into it. If you like this LS swap, please hit subscribe. Hit me up on social media if you want to chat with me, Instagram or Twitter, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, hit me up.